What's going on, crew? Just gonna recap tonight really quick and get right into tomorrow before I lay down. So, the lineup could have did better. Um, Rubio didn't do as well as I thought. Neither did Booker. The frustration for me is I really, really wanted to play Cat. I wanted to play Cat tonight, and it was difficult to do so because I was big on Boban. I thought Big Bon was in a good spot, and he did well. Um, I was big on Dwight. I wasn't big on Dwight. I was big on Boban. I was big on Julius Randle. Now, if I can do it all over, I would take out Randle and Devin Booker, throw Cat in, and then get value on one of those cheap guys because all the values did well tonight, and then we'd have been in the 300s easy, easy. But I ran with a 8K Booker, and Booker, man, only got like 20 something minutes. The team actually rested him today, so um, that's just something that you can't script, you can't predict. The guy's been getting 40 minutes. They've been out the playoffs. All of a sudden, they don't want to play him too many minutes. Rubio underachieved against a good Lakers spot. Wiggins did his thing. Carl Anthony Towns was the plug tonight. And in the live show, I really tried to consider him so strongly. And then eventually, so strongly that I made a lineup with him in it. Felt good about it. Then I looked at my lineup that I had before him and I just went with it. But that is fantasy. I'm not upset. Like I said, I haven't really. I'm waiting for the playoffs, man. Man, shout out to Russell Westbrook. I was on the my league pass watching that game, and I can't believe the last 2 minutes went the way it did. I watched that game, and the highlights does not show everything. The best part was that the crowd was like MVP. This guy's on the road, and the crowd is MVP. When he scored his 10th assist, you would have thought it was Oklahoma. The cheers and the amount of people, the ovations, the guys in another person's city getting that type of love. So that was great, and then it caused some frustration and led to Jokic causing a flagrant foul coming down. Him and Jokic was kind of like mouthing off. And for your home team to be cheering on the other guy, I get it. You will be upset. That's something that would upset me. So Jokic had his little frustration, caused the flagrant. So it was a lot of steam in the air, and they're down by like 10 points with 2 minutes left. And then I just saw Russell Westbrook. He morphed. He morphed from human into beast. Took over. So nonetheless, 3 seconds left. They're down. First of all, it was they were down two. Oklahoma was down two, and Denver had the ball. And in my mind, I'm like, even if Denver misses, right? So much can go wrong to the point where it's not a clear rebound and it's like a scuffle and time run out. You have like point 0.6 seconds to get up a shot. What's the chances? I'm like, whatever. Then in my mind, I'm happy for Russell, but it's hard to celebrate breaking history when your team just lost. It's kind of selfish. So I'm like, dang, I just wish you would have won. I already counted them out. So they play good defense. It's almost a shot clock violation. They throw up a wild shot. Oklahoma gets the ball. Timeout. And I'm just reiterating it because I don't think the highlight shows the intensity of the game, and it wasn't on TV, so a lot of people didn't see it. Oklahoma calls timeout. They guard. They don't. No teams have timeout left, so they're guarding the inbound so well. Russell Westbrook had to go almost at half court just to get the ball. He gets the ball, throw up a prayer, and it goes in. Man, I screamed at the top of my lungs. I'm running around my house. I'm like, yo, did he really do that? Like the guy morphed, man. If he doesn't get the MVP, it's just hate, man, because this is like the third time in the last couple weeks I've seen this guy morph from human to animal in the NBA and just go off. So again, a pleasure to look at. Shout out to Russell Westbrook. This live feed is for Russell Westbrook, all right? Um Ended up with 93 fantasy points. The two If we scored 235 with two big donuts, that means if we would have dodged those donuts, we could have did well. Again, it was such a weird early slate. That's why I hate those slates, man. But anyway, tomorrow seems okay. I'm gonna get into it really quick. I'm not gonna do a whole slate breakdown because we know a bunch of news is gonna come out that's gonna change things. But I'm gonna provide my kind of core players that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna play tomorrow more than anything else. Then I'm gonna talk about some scenarios, what I would do, what. But first thing is, I'm trying to stay away from teams like, for example, Harden. We had a big debate to play Harden or not to play Harden. The answer was to play him, but who would have known that they're up by 20 points, and similar to LeBron James, he's padding his stats coming down the stretch, and he hit his value. Whatever, it happens. Tomorrow, the coach already said that he's limited his start. He said it. He said it. So if Harden plays 35, 40 minutes tomorrow, I'm pissed off because the coach already said that, and it's a back to back going into the playoff. Risking your guys getting hurt is just not smart. So I don't think Harden is going to get the full load tomorrow. I'm just going off of common sense, okay? Oh man. Oh man, I'm a little frustrated, but whatever. So the first pick that I put into my, I guess you could call it sure six for tomorrow is Joe Ingles. And the reason I'm going Joe Ingles because although Utah is fighting for home court in the first round, I don't think they're gonna risk Hayward with a banged up quad. The fact that he's questionable with a couple games left, I'm pretty much ruling him out. All right. Same could be said for George Hill. Let's see what's his issue. Still has some groin issues. I think they'd rather have them healthy than have home court going into the playoffs. I think they're that confident in their defense. So I think he'll be out. Rodney Hood is already ruled out. That's the big thing. The fact that Rodney Hood is ruled out, and I consider Hayward pretty much doubtful. Plus Derek Favors is out, so they're gonna probably use Joe Johnson at the four a lot, which leaves just a lot of minutes for Joe Ingles playing both positions, the shooting guard and small forward. So Joe Ingles already played this team twice, 30 minutes, averaging 35 points. I think he'll get just about that tomorrow. And I don't see why he can't. He's shooting the three ball decently well. Um, Three out of his last four games weren't that great. But we see when he gets minutes in the upper 20s, he can get you 28, 28, 35. I just trust Joe Ingles tomorrow in a fast paced Golden State game in a team that he's had success against. I don't love it a lot, but if I'm gonna go 4K, it's just a decent play for 4K. I'm trying not to get to these punt plays, especially in a big slate like this, right? Then Paul George is more expensive than my comfort allows for, but I'm just going to go ahead and run him for a couple reasons. For one, it's win or go home for him at this point. So I think he's gonna take over. Plus, he's trying to get that All NBA team, and if he goes on this big run at the end of the season and forces his team into the playoff, I think it's gonna just fight his case some more. Again, it's Philly. Plays no defense. He doesn't really have too much success. He played them 35 minutes and only put up 36 points. But I think tomorrow's gonna be different. This game he shot 1 from 7 for three. He's been shooting the ball well from three. I think tomorrow will be different. I think he double doubles tomorrow. Even if he doesn't, in Orlando he didn't. He just scored a lot. I think he gets aggressive and take over the game and will his team to the win. So although I'm not super comfortable with Paul George for 10K, I like Paul George any given night. I had him the other day when he went off for that 55 points, but he was only 9.3. So for $600 more, if I get 55 mid 50s tomorrow, I really want 60, but anything in the 50s, I'm grateful for that price. To be honest, anything in the 50s. All right, even upper 40s. Anything under 45, I'm pissed. But if Paul George, these games are gonna be erratic. So just a decent number from him, I think, will get us where we need to be. And then Kelly Olynyk, I like a lot because for one, it's against Brooklyn, and then for two, oh, I didn't show my boy any love. I gotta show him some love. For two, Amir Johnson is, I would say, more doubtful. I don't know what's this. He has an illness. I think they want him to be 100%. There's no reason to force this guy back. Plus, Olenek is playing well. Even when he comes off the bench, he's known to hit value for that price. So when he starts getting minutes north of 25 and against a good matchup. I feel pretty good about Olenek for that price tomorrow. So Olenek and Ingles are the two people I'm kind of like, for that, for the lowest that I'll go, I'll take those two, right? And then I'm looking at matchups. I gotta exploit people that's in a good spot for matchups. So I'm looking at Miles Turner going against Philly. Philly is a premier matchup for him. Okay, they just played Philly a couple games back, and in 34 minutes he put up 45 with 16 rebounds. I don't see anything different tomorrow. We know that Philly is the team to target when it comes to centers. So I'm just running out Miles Turner because they're playing Philly, and he has to get aggressive. If you look at even his last game that he played against Orlando, he put up 42 fantasy points because it's crunch time, and Paul George is under these guys' butts like, yo, dogs, we need to get to the playoffs, so let's play basketball. So Miles Turner is in for that reason. And Al Horford trying to get the number one spot in a premier matchup against Brooklyn. Now, Al Horford has been up and down, but when you really look at it, Atlanta is tough down low with Dwight Howard. All right, he did decent against Charlotte in a decent matchup. Cleveland is tough, we know that. New York, he should have did better, but you know, Turner and Gomez and Porzingis, they can be a little tough down there. Orlando, he did decent for that price. Milwaukee, decent. Miami is a tough matchup and he did well. Phoenix, an easy matchup and he performed. Indiana for the bigs and he performed. Washington, good for the bigs and he performed. So I don't see why not against Brooklyn going for something that he cannot perform. Okay, I actually also like Isaiah Thomas. Um, but it's just that, see, what I was really considering is keeping away from Paul George and going Isaiah Thomas. But Isaiah Thomas have options, right? Like Horford, for example, can take over the game and triple double if he wants to. Isaiah Thomas has consistently been in the 40s, and 40s is pretty much what I'm looking for. I'll prefer upper 40s, but mid to low 40s, I wouldn't be too upset about. He's done that in 3 straight games. In 2 games against the Nets, he's been in the 40s. I don't doubt that he could get into the 40s. He's at home. I just think that with Avery Bradley and Marcus Smart and all those guys playing well, it's just more competition for points. And when I'm budgeting money from a fantasy point of view, I can still afford him and then getting a min price player, which might be a good idea. But why do that when we can get players with high upside that can do well for us, right? So this is my main core. James Johnson starting is just a monster. He played only 17 minutes against this team. He put up 22. So he could double that if he starts. And the 2 games that he starts, he's the last 3, 41, 49, and 39. Any of those numbers make me happy tomorrow. Once James Johnson is starting, I just have to go with him. Again, another team that's playing for something tomorrow. So this is the core. It's hard to think that I'll change much. If I do change much, it's going to be Olenek and Jingles. And the only reason I will change those guys is if apparent value show up tomorrow. But if not, I'm gonna go Paul George. I'm gonna go James Johnson. I'm gonna go Horford and Turner. Right now, if news drop and I'm able to comfortably, I'll even throw Isaiah Thomas in there. I love the situation that Isaiah Thomas is in. All right, good matchup against Brooklyn at home, playing for first seed in the East. It's a lot of good stuff going on there. All right, now let's talk about some scenarios that I've been studying. First one is what goes on in Chicago makes a big difference, okay? If Rondo plays tomorrow, we see that the last 4 or 5 point guards against Orlando have been destroying them to shreds. So if Rondo plays tomorrow, I might have to lock him in because before he got hurt, let's look at his numbers: 39, 53, 45, 43. So in good matchup, he's gonna perform. This New York game, he only played 25 minutes, and I think that's when he got hurt. He was on his way to the 30s, and they end up losing. I don't think he finished that game. Pretty sure he didn't. So if Rondo plays, he's almost a certain thing, and I'll just really forget about Isaiah Thomas. Then I have $5,000 for another guard, and then I can see what other news comes out. Right? That's the first scenario. If does not play, then I'm gonna go Dwayne Wade for 5,500 tomorrow. I might even throw some Jerry and Grant with Dwayne Wade, knowing that Jerry and Grant has been playing well and Rondo's absent. In the 2 games Rondo's been out, he's been in the 30s both games. So I might do something like that and then upgrade either Ingles or Olenek, depending. Let's see, 5,700. If we're looking for an upgrade in this situation, We got, let's see what options. No Tobias. Saric against Indiana. We know that he's been crying that he's tired, right? Thad Young's been playing very well. I'll probably throw some Thad Young in there and just keep it to the people that need to win. Against Philly, Thad Young is like, yeah, you got to do that. So I'll probably take out Olenek at this point, throw some Thad Young, and call that a lineup. That's a decent lineup right there, okay? So that's just another scenario. Let's keep looking below Thad Young. Fournier has been playing well, but I think I'd rather Thad Young with something on the line than Fournier. And that's pretty much it. Oh, can't forget about this guy, man. Hollis Jefferson. He just went on for 40 against Chicago. It seems like he does better at home because he went on these two road games and got 18 and 19 in two decent matchups. Then against Atlanta at home, he did well. So he's been a little bit up and down. He just dropped 44. He's playing hard, man. The guy's playing hard. So he's another consideration if Rondo does not play. But once Rondo plays, I'm going to throw him in and just keep the value rolling, okay? Let's look at some more situations. Probably hold on to Thad Young regardless. Thad Young is back, man, and this is a good matchup for him. So Thad Young might just be part of my core for tomorrow. I like the position that he's in. He's playing big minutes. Like, look at this last game he just played, right? He didn't really do much. He scored 14 points, 4 rebounds, but he did some blocks and steals, and those are easy to come by against Philadelphia. In 3 game averaging 27 minutes. He's only putting up 19, it says, but two of those games were recently when he was kind of like this game. He played 13 minutes. He went 0 for 7. So that's bringing down the average quite a bit. It's kind of fake. I wouldn't really believe it. He's playing much better there, and they reincorporated him into the game plan, and he's doing a very well job at it. So might just stack up a lot of Indiana tomorrow, knowing that they're playing with a purpose. Might, but let's stick to what we had, right? Let's get back Olenek then. Just look at some other scenarios. Now, if another guy that I like depending on the type of news that dropped tomorrow is Jeremy Lin again. Now Lin is 7K. We need 40s from him. It's never a sure thing. He just dropped a 50 bomb. He's playing hard. It's against Boston, a good matchup. To be honest, I don't think I get to Lin. I'd rather take the point guard that starts for Chicago. So whatever point guard starts for Chicago, I'm going to play them tomorrow and kind of freelance it from there, right? That's my plan. That's my plan at this point. So Rondo's like, it looks like it's 50-50. They're saying that he has a sprained ankle. He couldn't get any shots up on Saturday. I don't think 2 days later for Monday is gonna make a big difference. And even if he does play, just to know that he's playing not 100% with Dwayne Wade back makes me feel some type of way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about it. So what's even safer for me at this point? What I'm gonna do is throw some Dwayne Wade in there because Dwayne Wade only played 25 minutes the last game out. And he put up almost 30. It's good for a point per minute. I think this game is gonna get his full load. And in 2 games, averaging 29 against this team, he's putting up 41 points. I think he wants to go to the playoffs as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw some Dwayne Wade in, and then 5,800 for a point guard. Just to hold the lineup for now, but this is kind of like the core, the template, or the direction that I'm going tomorrow. And then I'm going to speak about guys that's in good spots, why I'm not going to mess with them, right? So for a point guard for this price, it's tough. Definitely like Tyler Johnson against Cleveland. He loves to play them. He does very well against them. So I might consider that. The thing is, yeah, with Miami trying to punch that ticket, I might throw some Tyler Johnson. I feel like he's safer than Dragic. Dragic has been playing kind of weird, man. I don't know what's going on with Dragic. Oh, what am I doing? Ingles. And this is not final. This is just to give an idea of where I'm going tomorrow with my lineup. Um, Definitely want to be certain with my point guard. I'm gonna have to go up a little more than this. Um, but Tyler Johnson's not a bad pick, I guess. And then 5,400 for a guard. You know what I mean? Let's say Rondo's out. All right, I'll throw Jerry and Grant and some D Wade, and then I'll take out Ingles, throw D Wade in the two. I just don't want to forget about Ingles tomorrow because a lot of times I'll just forget that I like a certain player. And then for guard, Fournier's been pretty solid. Um, I don't know if I'll go Fournier. I know that I'll go Josh Richardson. But then that's another scenario. If Waiters play, I won't go Josh Richardson. But if Waiters is out, I'm Josh Richardson 100%. The guy's been playing very well. Very well. It's pretty safe around 30 every game against Cleveland. In a game that matters, he plays good defense. So I don't know if I can get to him, but this is just a idea of where I'm going. Okay, now let's look at other juggernauts for the night and see how we feel. James Harden, I think he's going to be limited. He just put up 40 something minutes today. I don't see why they go full fledged. LeBron James just went into overtime today, exerted himself to have to travel to Cleveland, to Miami. I don't doubt that LeBron will do well. We know that once he's playing, he will play the duration of the game, and you got to get him in. So if tomorrow I don't know what they're gonna do, but if I might have to consider getting some LeBron in, depending on the type of value that comes out, right? Getting some LeBron in and like getting rid of some iffy players. Depends on what drops, but LeBron is someone that I'm looking at that I'm like, yo, I might just have to play. There's no guarding LeBron. Jimmy Butler, I'm good. Now that Dwayne Wade is back, I'm good off Jimmy Butler for 10K at least. So I'm off that. Antetokounmpo, you know how I feel. I'm not really big on Antetokounmpo on any given day, especially for 10K. Damian Lillard. If Denver won today, I would 100% play Damian Lillard. But I don't think I don't even blame them if they rest him tomorrow. I'm pretty sure with the way he's been exerting himself and fighting for the playoff. Now that they're pretty much locked in, I don't see why Damian Lillard should risk anything. Now, part of me feels like they just want to keep the momentum going and just keep playing since they've been playing well. Just keep going so the team stays in that state of mind, which is and again, it has to be news that surfaced without the day that makes me. But Lillard, I like. If you just drop 80 and you're averaging 50 and then you're like 80, 45, 44, even those 40s, I don't know. Just Lillard doesn't really, now that they're in the playoff, Lillard doesn't really super appeal to me. Someone else that I was looking at was Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has had so much success against this team. In 2 games, playing 34.1 minutes, he's averaging 54 fantasy points. That's very well. If he gives me 54 tomorrow, I'm happy. Not to mention 44. He had a 24 game, but we can excuse it, right? Just 1 game. But 44, 62, 44, 52. He's having a stretch of very nice games. So Kawhi and Popovich said that he's not resting anyone. He wants them to get some good chemistry. Um, what did I read? I'll read it out for you guys. Popovich, he said that Popovich said that he doesn't expect Leonard or any other of the core players to sit out for the last 2 games. He says he's looking forward to those 2 games. Nobody's gonna rest. Everyone's gonna play. We've already rested everybody, and we have days off in between games. It's like the playoffs, kind of. There's no back to backs. There's no bad traveling situation. It's time to get our rhythm together. He's pretty much saying so. Kawhi might be a good play, just knowing that they're preparing for the playoffs where they can't make mistakes, right? Isaiah Thomas, I kind of spoke about. I do like him. I like Chris Paul tomorrow. Chris Paul's been hot. 51 in the last 10 games. 40 and 50 every game. Look, 48, 46, 53, 53, 54, 40. So Chris Paul is going to be hard to fade tomorrow, man. Especially when they're playing for home court. They're actually playing for something in a fast-paced game. The only thing I'm concerned about is that if Houston is saying that they're going to kind of throw the white flag in preparation for OKC, um, I'm concerned about that because similar to when the big three of Cleveland rested, yes, Chris Paul had a good first quarter, but then they realized they didn't need him much of the game. And why play a guy a whole game if you don't need him. But then again, if Harden is out there showing out and it comes a close game and nobody wants to sit, they want to have fun and play a good basketball game, Chris Paul might be interesting. So again, it just depends on what type of news surface going into tomorrow. Gobert, I'm good. Griffin just disappointed me. I think I'm off that. I like IT. Whiteside is another guy. Now, it looks like Tristan Thompson is going to play. Why? Because even though he was ruled out today, he was almost questionable. They almost played him, and he traveled with the team. So I think that Tristan Thompson is definitely going to play, especially now when they have big Whiteside to worry about. They cannot put Shannon Fry on Whiteside. It's just suicidal. You know what I mean? So I think Tristan Thompson plays. If he does, I'll probably stay off of Whiteside for that price. If Tristan Thompson is out tomorrow, guys, I might have to consider one of these two centers and get Whiteside in there at home in a matchup which he's gonna feast. He's gonna feast. Now, for 8K, I'm not excited to throw him in. I think he'll do well, but he just have a hard time against Cleveland. And it's gonna be a weird game. It just depends on what type of news drop. I might look at some Whiteside. Kemba Walker is eliminated. Durant's eliminated. Kevin Love is too expensive with the other stuff that's going on. Vucevic and Payton, I'm good. They're not playing for anything. I don't know what their team is gonna do. I don't want to take risks. DeAndre Jordan, I like again, cheap tomorrow. I just don't know what type of situation is gonna present. So until I know, I'll stay away. But I do like DeAndre Jordan. It's looking like I might have to make two lineups tomorrow. I'm trying to stay away from spending too much money before the playoffs. But I might want to mess around with two lineups tomorrow. Throw some Whiteside and DJ as my two centers and the other one. Just play around a little bit. It just depends. Depends what type of news drop tomorrow afternoon. Jeremy Lin. Teague is another guy in a good matchup, but it's been so inconsistent that I can't trust him. And then we start to get into the mid-tier players where I'm not going to get into. So that's my thoughts about tomorrow. Let's see how it goes, man. I'll be back on tomorrow about 5:30. What time the game starts? 7. Expect me around 5:30 tomorrow to break everything down, have all the news, and just move forward. But for right now, I'll just put this as our lineup, and we'll see what happens.